Surrounded by loved ones, Kenny Law, who appeared in the television show Moonshiners, has passed away. Surrounded by loved ones. Remembering Kenny Law from Moonshiners. Kenny Law, the beloved character from the hit reality TV show Moonshiners, has passed away. A man whose larger-than-life presence captivated fans and left an indelible mark on the hearts of those who followed his journey. Kenny was more than just a moonshiner. He was a symbol of resilience, tradition, and authenticity. While his death is a deep loss to those who knew him personally and to the millions of fans who admired his role on television, his legacy lives on through the people he touched, the stories he shared, and the spirit he embodied. A life rooted in tradition. Kenny Law's life was a testament to his deep connection to the Appalachian Mountains and the traditions that have been passed down for generations. Born and raised in the rugged hills of Kentucky, Kenny was no stranger to hard work, perseverance, and the importance of family. Moonshining, which was as much a part of his heritage as the soil beneath his feet, was something he grew up with. It was a way of life for many in his community, who carried on the craft in defiance of prohibition laws, creating a quiet but fiercely resilient subculture within the mountains. From an early age, Kenny was exposed to the art of making moonshine. His father and grandfather were skilled distillers who had perfected their craft over decades. As a child, Kenny would spend countless hours in the workshop, learning the ins and outs of the distillation process, watching the men in his family toil away to create their signature liquor. There was an innate understanding of the process that he inherited, as well as a deep respect for the art. Kenny learned not only the technicalities of moonshining, but the values of persistence, loyalty, and craftsmanship that were instilled in him by his elders. Kenny's love for his craft was evident in everything he did. Whether it was the art of crafting moonshine or building bonds with those around him, Kenny was always committed to excellence. He would often say that the key to great moonshine was patience and time. He emphasized how important it was to let the process unfold naturally, to allow the flavors to develop and evolve. It was this same philosophy that he carried with him in every aspect of his life, especially his relationships. Moonshiners and the spotlight. In 2013, Kenny's life would take a dramatic turn when he appeared on the Discovery Channel's Moonshiners. The reality television show followed a group of people in the Appalachian region as they produced illegal moonshine and fought to keep their craft alive in the face of modern-day challenges. At first, Kenny was somewhat hesitant about joining the show. He had spent much of his life working quietly in the shadows of the hills, content with his private life and the small circle of people who appreciated his work. But the opportunity to showcase the traditions he held so dear to a broader audience was too significant to pass up. He believed the show could offer a window into his world, a world that many people, especially those from outside the mountains, knew little about. What made Kenny stand out on Moonshiners was not just his knowledge of moonshining, but his personality. Kenny exuded warmth, charisma, and a calm demeanor that made him instantly relatable. He was the kind of person you wanted by your side, someone you could rely on. He treated everyone with respect, whether they were seasoned moonshiners or people just looking for a taste of his homemade shine. His authenticity and genuine nature were as much a part of his charm as his skill in distilling. Over the years, Kenny became a fan favorite on the show, not because of any over-the-top antics or wild stunts, but because of his quiet integrity and dedication to the craft. In many ways, Kenny was the heart of the show. While others might engage in high-stakes situations with the law or dramatic business dealings, Kenny remained rooted in the traditional values of family, loyalty, and respect. His approach to moonshining was as much about honoring the past as it was about surviving in the present. Many viewers appreciated how Kenny wasn't just about making moonshine for profit. It was about preserving a way of life that was under threat from modernity. His role on Moonshiners helped shine a light on the history of moonshining, showing how the craft had evolved from a necessity during Prohibition to a subculture that kept traditions alive in the face of law enforcement crackdowns. The man behind the moonshine. Despite his fame, Kenny remained humble throughout his time on Moonshiners. He had no grandiose ambitions of becoming a celebrity. His main focus was always on his family and his craft. It was clear from the outset that Kenny's heart belonged to the mountains and to the people who had shared this life with him. Surrounded by his family and close friends, to the spotlight of fame. In interviews, Kenny often spoke about his love for the land, the mountains that had raised him, and the sense of peace that came from being close to nature. His love for his family was equally profound. He spoke frequently of his wife, children, and grandchildren, often sharing stories of how they had grown up alongside him, helping with the distillery and continuing the traditions he had inherited. It was evident that family was the center of his world. They were the ones who had supported him throughout his life, and they were the ones who would continue to carry his legacy forward. Kenny was also known for his generosity. He had an open-door policy for friends and strangers alike, offering a warm meal and a drink of moonshine to anyone who passed through his door. He believed in the power of community and the importance of supporting one another, especially in hard times. It wasn't unusual for Kenny to take on the role of mediator in disputes within his community, using his calm and thoughtful approach to bring people together. Even after his appearance on Moonshiners brought him wider recognition, Kenny remained true to his roots. He continued to operate his distillery, making small batches of moonshine with the same care and attention to detail that had earned him his reputation. He was always eager to share his knowledge with others, whether they were aspiring distillers or simply curious fans. His passion for his craft was infectious, and those who had the privilege of working with him spoke often of how much they learned from him, not just about moonshine, but about life itself. The community's loss when news of Kenny's passing spread. It hit his family, friends, and fans hard. Many spoke of the void that had been left behind, not just in the world of Moonshiners, but in their hearts. Kenny wasn't just a star on a television show. He was a beloved figure in the Appalachian community, someone who represented everything that was good about the region, its tradition, its resilience, and its people. For his family, Kenny's death marked the end of an era. His children, who had grown up by his side, spoke of the profound influence he had on their lives. "He was the heart of our family," his daughter said, her voice choked with emotion. "He taught us everything we know, about moonshine, about life, about love. We're going to miss him more than words can say." In the mountains, where the echoes of Kenny's life reverberated through the woods and the hills, people gathered to remember him. His community came together to celebrate his life, sharing stories of his kindness, his humor, and his unwavering commitment to preserving the heritage of their land. People from all walks of life, friends, neighbors, and fans, spoke of the ways in which Kenny had touched their lives. Fellow Moonshiners cast members, who had shared both the highs and the lows of working on the show, were equally affected by his passing. Tim Smith, another prominent figure from the show, shared a heartfelt tribute on social media. "Kenny wasn't just a coworker. He was a friend, a mentor, and a brother," Tim wrote.